All right, ready to dive into something new. Today, it's Xero Shoes.
Yeah.
We're going deep on Xero Shoes. Articles, reviews, the whole 9 yards to see what this whole minimalist footwear thing is all about.
It's interesting, right? Because it's not just about like swapping out your sneakers.
Right.
It's a whole philosophy, like how your feet naturally work and how that impacts, well, everything. Performance, how you feel, all of it.
Okay, so I've got all these articles, and I'm seeing wider toe boxes, super flexible soles even, DIY sandal kits.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Are Xero Shoes, like, everywhere right now?
They are really popular.
Is it just hype? Or is there actually something to this whole minimalist shoe thing?
Well, it's funny you mentioned the DIY kit.
Okay.
Because that's kind of how Xero Shoes got started. The founder, Steven Sashin, he was a sprinter. But in his 40s, he was dealing with all these injuries.
Oh, yeah.
And he came across this group, the Tarahumara runners from Mexico.
I've heard of them.
They're known for like running crazy distances, ultra marathons basically, and they do it all in minimal footwear.
Right, like barely their shoes.
And for Sashin, it was this total aha moment. He ditched his bulky shoes and his pain actually eased up.
Wow.
So he started making what he called invisible shoes, and that's how Xero Shoes came to be.
So they kind of jumped on that whole barefoot running trend. I remember when that Born to Run book came out, everyone wanted to ditch their shoes.
Totally. And funnily enough, Christopher McDougall, the author of Born to Run, he recently partnered with Xero Shoes. They released a whole line together.
What?
But yeah, even before that, they really tapped into that barefoot running craze. And they created like a surprisingly big range of footwear, sandals, casual shoes, even hiking boots, all based on that idea that our feet just naturally want to move freely.
Okay, but how do they actually feel? I'm so used to comfy sneakers.
Right.
Like, is there a big adjustment period? Or are people actually finding these minimalist shoes comfortable right away?
Well, I read about this one guy. He wears his Xero Shoes constantly,
Lily.
like over 25,000 steps a day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he says they're super comfortable. And like lots of people say the same thing, especially about how much freedom their toes have.
Right, right.
Because Xero Shoes are all about flexible soles, lightweight materials, and those roomier toe boxes.
Yeah, yeah. So your feet can actually, like, splay and move the way they're supposed to.
Exactly.
It sounds kind of nice, actually,
Yeah.
but also a little intimidating. What about the downsides? Like, how durable are these shoes?
Yeah.
They're so minimal. Do they just wear out super fast?
That makes sense. It's true. Getting used to minimalist shoes, it can take a minute. Your feet have to adapt. And some models, maybe not the best for like crazy weather.
Right.
But the surprising thing, durability is where Xero Shoes really shine. Like, they have a 5,000-mile warranty on their soles.
5,000 miles. That's like running across the U.S. and back.
Exactly. They clearly believe in their product.
Wow, that's impressive. Speaking of, I saw that Xero Shoes was actually on Shark Tank.
Oh, yeah.
Did they get a deal?
They did. It was back in 2013, season 4, I think.
Wow, okay.
And it's kind of interesting. Kevin O'Leary offered them a deal, $400,000 for half the company, but they actually turned it down.
Wow. Gutsy move.
Right. They wanted to do things their own way.
Clearly paid off for them.
Yeah.
But, okay, why should someone actually care about Xero Shoes? Like, if you're not chasing trends, what makes them different?
Well, I think it comes down to this. Most shoes today, yeah, they're comfy, but they really limit how your feet are supposed to move.
Okay.
Xero Shoes are different. They want your feet to work the way they were designed, which can actually make your muscles stronger. And it can help your balance, too.
So it's not even really about the shoes themselves. It's more about, like, how our bodies are meant to move.
Exactly. And it all connects to that whole mind-body thing. Wearing minimalist shoes, you start to pay more attention to where your feet are, how you're balancing, even your posture. You're really feeling the ground.
I get it. So it's not just about comfort. It's like rediscovering what our feet can do.
Yeah, exactly.
But is there actual science behind this? We hear these claims a lot. Like, what does the research say?
That is the million-dollar question. But yeah, more and more research is coming out about minimalist shoes. And it's pretty interesting. For example, studies show that minimalist shoes can actually make you run more naturally.
That makes sense. I've heard that big cushioned heels, like in traditional running shoes, they actually make you more likely to heel strike.
Yeah.
Which isn't that, like, really hard on your joints?
Exactly. It can be rough, especially over time.
So minimalist shoes encourage a different kind of strike.
Yes, more of a forefoot or midfoot strike. Much easier on the body, especially for longer distances.
Huh. So you're running more like, well, how you're naturally supposed to.
Exactly. Your body and your stride all working together.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And what about other benefits? I've heard about better balance, better coordination.
Yeah.
What's the science there?
It all comes down to something called proprioception. Basically, it's how your body knows where it is in space.
Like our internal GPS, kind of.
Yes, exactly that. And minimalist shoes, with those thin, flexible soles, they really make those signals stronger from your feet to your brain. So you're getting way more feedback from the ground, which basically just sharpens your balance and coordination.
It's like going from, I don't know, a fuzzy radio signal to like crystal clear HD.
Perfect analogy.
Okay, I'm sold. But what about those muscles? Do these shoes really like make your feet stronger?
They definitely can. It makes sense when you think about it. When your feet are always like cushioned and supported by these thick soles, the muscles in your feet don't have to work as hard. They get kind of lazy, but with minimalist shoes, those muscles are constantly working, supporting you, stabilizing you.
So every step is like a mini workout for your feet.
Exactly. It's like instead of relying on all the shoe tech, you're tapping into what your body can already do.
I like that a lot, actually. But, okay, let's be real. We've talked about all the good stuff. But are there any downsides to minimalist shoes? Or like risks? Especially if you're just starting out.
That's a really good point. I mean, with any big change, you have to be careful, right? And like a good scientist, I always look at both sides. There are studies that show if you switch to minimalist shoes too fast without letting your body adjust, it could lead to injuries.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You can't go from like cushy comfort shoes to minimalist and expect your body to be okay with it.
Right, like asking someone to run a marathon with zero training.
Exactly. That's a disaster waiting to happen. It has to be gradual.
So speaking of minimalist shoes, Xero Shoes has like a ton of different options now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not just sandals anymore. It seems like they have a shoe for everything. What are some of the ones that stand out?
They really have expanded. They've still got their sandals, of course, those are classics. The Z Trail is really popular, especially with hikers.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the Hana, that's more of a casual everyday shoe.
Got it.
And if you're super into fitness, they even have shoes for running, trail running, even CrossFit.
Wait, CrossFit in minimalist shoes?
Yeah.
That sounds kind of hardcore.
It is. They have shoes like the HFS that are made for those high-impact workouts. But it's not even just about the activity. They also have shoes for different foot shapes. Like the Prio is supposed to be their most versatile model.
Nice. I like versatility. Okay, but how do these shoes actually hold up? Are we talking about like constantly replacing them?
I mean, with minimalist shoes, you do wonder about that sometimes, especially because they're so lightweight.
Right.
But remember that 5,000-mile warranty?
Oh, right.
They really seem to be built to last. And when you read reviews, people are always talking about how durable they are.
That's good to hear. But okay, what if something does happen? Like you step on something during a run and messes up your shoe. Are you just out of luck?
No. Actually, Xero Shoes is known for having great customer support. They even want you to reach out if you have problems.
Oh, nice.
And they sell replacement parts on their website, so you can even try fixing them yourself if you want.
Wow, I like that. So many companies talk about sustainability, but this is like actually doing something about it.
Yeah.
Okay, what about sizing? What if someone needs a little extra help finding the right fit?
They've thought of that too. Their website has this whole sizing guide. You can print out templates and measure your foot at home.
Oh, that's smart.
And remember those custom fit options.
Yeah.
You can adjust the straps, the laces, even take out the insole if you want.
So it's like totally personalized.
Exactly. No more settling for a shoe that's almost right.
I love it. Okay, but let's talk fashion for a second. With Xero Shoes, are you stuck with like just browns and tans, or are there more stylish options?
Oh, they've definitely upped their style game. While they're still pretty minimalist, they have way more colors and patterns now. They even have some really sleek, modern-looking shoes. You could definitely wear them to work or even out.
Cool. So you can rock that minimalist vibe all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get too off track, let's get back to transitioning to minimalist shoes.
Yeah.
You said it's important to start slow. Like, what would you tell someone who's dying to try Xero Shoes, but they don't want to get hurt?
Start really gradually. Don't just immediately toss your regular shoes and run a 10K in your new Xeros.
Right.
Start by just wearing them around the house for short periods. Then you can slowly increase how long you wear them and what you do in them. And pay attention to how your body feels. Any pain? Back off. Let your feet rest.
Good advice. It's like any lifestyle change. Okay, so are these shoes just for runners? Or can anyone wear them?
That's the really cool thing about this whole minimalist movement. It's not just for athletes anymore. I mean, runners were probably the first ones to really embrace it.
Yeah.
But now, everyone's wearing them.
So like hikers, people who do yoga, anyone who's on their feet a lot.
Exactly. And it's not even just the physical benefits. There's this whole mindfulness aspect to it, you
Mm.
know? You start to really notice how your feet are moving, the ground, your
It's
posture.
like you actually start paying attention to your feet instead of
Yeah,
them just being dot feet.
right.
But with any popular brand, there are always going to be people who aren't fans.
What are some of the criticisms of Xero Shoes?
Yeah.
For sure. Every brand's going to have its critics. So what are some of the things people say about Xero Shoes that aren't so positive?
Well, the most common one I see is about the lack of support.
Some people, especially if they're used to shoes with a lot of cushioning, they don't feel supported enough in Zeros.
Yeah,
They might even have some pain when they're first getting used to them.
makes sense. It's like your feet have to adjust.
Totally. Like switching from a really soft mattress to a firm one takes some time.
For sure. What else? What other issues come up?
Another thing is the toe box. Some people, especially those with narrower feet, they find it too wide.
Even with the adjustable straps and all that?
Yeah, even then. It just goes to show everyone's feet are different, what works for one person.
Doesn't work for everyone.
Yeah,
It's like finding that perfect fit, not too big, not too small.
exactly.
Okay, so speaking of things that are different for everyone, let's talk price. Are Xero shoes like a big investment, or are they doable for, regular people?
They're actually pretty reasonable, especially when you think about how long they last. And the materials they use are really good quality. So not the cheapest, but definitely not luxury shoe prices.
Now that warranty, 5,000 miles, that's got to count for something.
Right. But if you're looking for a deal, there are definitely ways to save.
Like what?
Their website's a good place to start. They have sales pretty often,
Yeah.
especially around holidays.
Yeah.
And it's always a good idea to sign up for their emails. They'll send out special discounts and stuff to subscribers.
So it pays to be in the know. Now, for someone who's like totally new to Xero shoes, where should they go to learn more? Besides this deep dive, I mean.
Honestly, their website is amazing. They have tons of information, product details, reviews from real people, even articles about minimalist shoes and foot health.
Wow, so they really educate people.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, but what if you're someone who likes to, try things on in person? Are there actual stores that sell Xero shoes?
Definitely. They have retailers all over the world now. You can find the one closest to you on their website.
So you've got options. This has been really interesting. But before we wrap up, I have one last question for you. If someone's out there listening and they're on the fence about trying Xero shoes, what would you say to convince them to take the plunge?
That's a good one. I think it comes down to this. Trying Xero Shoes, it's like an invitation
Okay. An invitation to do what?
to really connect with your feet again, to remember what it feels like to move naturally, to, I don't know, see the world a little differently.
Like you're not just buying shoes, you're buying into this whole other way of moving through the world. Well, there you have it. We've walked you through everything. Xero shoes. From their kind of DIY beginnings to where they are now. And we looked at the science behind minimalist footwear, the different styles they offer, and what makes them so unique. So what was the most interesting thing for you? What stood out?
You know, for me, it's just this reminder that our bodies are capable of so much. Xero Shoes and this whole minimalist thing, it's about moving away from all that extra support and just letting our feet do their thing.
Trusting your body, basically.
Yeah.
Letting your feet move the way they were meant to. So if you're at all curious about minimalist footwear, if you want to try a different way of moving, Xero shoes might be exactly what you're looking for. Thanks for exploring with us. And remember, don't let your feet live a restricted life.